Welcome back to the Friday Five for July 26th, 2024. My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm a business law and estate planning attorney with offices in Edina, Minnesota, and New York City. We like to do these quick videos on Friday, about 5 minutes long, about 5 questions from the week. Maybe these are questions you've had in the past as well. Question 1 this week, what are corporate minutes? So I had a very interesting call with a prospective client who was setting up their business, and they've done a lot of research, and they've really looked into some of the things that go on in a business down the road. They've looked at that business life cycle. They've looked at what's going to happen after they form the business and what are the next steps. And what they were really looking for was a checklist of all the different things that they're going to have to do once they get their business set up. One of the topics we looked at is what are corporate minutes? So corporate minutes are a document that is put together after you have a meeting of the owners. So if we have a single member LLC, chances are you're not going to have an annual meeting with yourself where you're going to sit around in the boardroom and just say things out loud or maybe give a presentation to nobody in particular. But when we have businesses with multiple owners, we do want to make sure that we are having some kind of a document of any major meetings amongst the owners. So if we have that meeting, somebody takes notes, and that becomes what we call corporate minutes. And those minutes are then signed by all the owners of the company. And we put that in with our corporate records to show that a meeting happened, and we can see what decisions were made at that meeting. Question 2 this week, which goes right into number 1, is what are corporate resolutions? So if we've got this multi-owner business and we're having a meeting, there may be things that require a decision of the major owners. Let's say that the business is going to acquire a new business or switch banks or make another big financial decision. Maybe we're relocating to another state. Whatever the main decision is, we want to have that decision documented in our corporate minutes. And we also want to have resolutions, which are a document that says the shareholders, the owners, the members have discussed this matter and have made the following decision. So when you're opening a new bank account, it is common that the bank will actually want to see a corporate resolution signed by the owners, or at least a majority of the owners, that says that the corporation is now going to use Chase Bank or Citibank or Wells Fargo as their new bank for their corporate matters. So these resolutions are helpful when you're dealing with third parties, whether it's banks or other financing institutions, or whether we're moving our business to a different state. Question 3 this week. Same caller and same bit of information. We're talking about annual meetings. And so the question was, does my business need to have an annual meeting? Again, if I'm a solo operator of a business, maybe a single member LLC, the annual meeting doesn't necessarily have to be a formal meeting where you sit down in a room and give a presentation to an empty set of seats, but you do want to have corporate minutes showing that some kind of an annual meeting was held. And if there's any resolutions, we want them written out. So it's good to have all of these documents in with our corporate documents to show that we're an ongoing business and we're taking care of the regular affairs of the business. Now, in some states, some businesses are required to have an annual meeting, and especially when we have these public companies that are listed on stock exchanges and we have filings with the SEC, they are often required to have an annual meeting as well. So if you're not sure if you need to have an annual meeting or not, I would reach out to the attorney for your business and speak to them and make sure that they're giving you an update on whether or not you have to have the annual meeting or whether you can just do it on paper instead of meeting in the same room and just have a list of minutes of what was discussed for the year. Question 4 this week. How do I update my will? So as I shoot this video, we're in the summertime. Wills aren't really on the forefront for a lot of people right now. We're in summer mode. We're on vacation. But a few clients have reached out and said, some things have changed now. The school year's over. I have a child who graduated and I need to do some updates to my will, and I'm not sure what to do next. So when we look at updates to a will, there's 2 ways to do it. One is a codicil, which is a fancy legal term for making a change to your will, usually a small change. So let's say one of your executors has now passed away and we need to put someone else in their place. We can do a codicil. It's a change to your will. But if we have a lot of changes and there's a lot of things that need to be done, let's say maybe you've even moved to a new state and you need to take advantage of those new state's laws, then we can do a completely new will as well, if that's what's required. Again, it's really going to depend upon how much needs to be changed and what you're looking to have your will say after the changes are made. Either way, what you can do is reach out to your attorney, explain to them what the changes are, and they should be able to help you decide whether you need a codicil or whether you need an entirely new will. And even even if you do a codicil, we still need to make sure that it's signed properly with witnesses and a notary. So it still has to have the same formalities as when your will was originally signed. And that's one of those little things that people get tripped up on when they try to use online websites to get these things put together. And question 5 this week is a classic. Should I put my will in a safe deposit box? Now, the interesting thing is I see information online all the time saying the safe deposit box is the best place for your documents. However, when it comes to our estate planning documents, our original documents, we don't want the safe deposit box to be the location. Primarily because if something happens to you and you pass away, that safe deposit box gets locked down and you're not able to access it, meaning your family members or your executor can't access the documents without a court order. It's also not the best idea because you're going to be waiting on the bank's hours. So let's say you need to get to your original healthcare power of attorney, but it's in your safe deposit box and it's Friday night at 10 o'clock. Well, the bank isn't open and you probably can't track down a bank manager to help you get into a bank branch at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. So you're subject to the bank's hours of when you can get access to your documents. So that's why I recommend to my clients, first of all, we have the originals either in their home or somewhere easily accessible to them in case they're needed, especially with powers of attorney. They can be needed at off hours or different times than your simple 9 to 5, and we want to make sure we have access to those documents. And then we also do an electronic access. So if you work with my firm, we give you a client portal where you have access to PDF versions of your documents online. So let's say it is the weekend and the doctor's office says we don't need the original, we just need to see a copy. You'd be able to go online, download the PDF, and give it to your doctor's office. So that's it. Those are our 5 questions for the week. If you like this video, you can hit the like or thumbs up button below. You can subscribe for future episodes on YouTube or at ayerslaw.tv.com. There'll be a link below to submit a question for future episodes. You can always go to 𝙃𝙀𝙍𝙀.com and we can set up a legal strategy session to go over these questions or some others you may have. And wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful weekend.